Has raised its national minimum wage for the second time this year. But with the rising cost of living for some, the increase may not be enough to make a difference. CGTN correspondent Evangelos Sipsas reports.
On a rare day off as a food delivery driver, Yorgos Karadimos usually spends his time walking along the waterfront just a few blocks away from his house where he lives with his parents. He usually pairs it with a coffee to make the stroll a bit more pleasant. As cost of living prices are surging, it's one of the few things he can afford since he earns minimum wage.
Living on minimum wage is very difficult, especially if you don't have any backup or support from family and friends. You can't really do the life you want, of course. Everyone has different needs and standards, but we're talking about the basics. Even that is difficult to have. You really have to cut from everywhere, especially having to pay insurance, rent, and having a family. It's just impossible. Many times I just stay home so I won't have to spend money, and that limits my social life. Plus COVID, the food increases, it came together.
Rising energy costs are reflected in food costs. The government is subsidizing fuel at its highest rate ever, but is also taking steps to support low-wage workers in retail, supermarkets, and construction. In a televised address last month, Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis announced a minimum wage increase by 30 cents, from $4.20 to $4.50 an hour. Mitsotakis asserted that the latest measure, which came into effect in May, amounts to almost a 10% increase from last year and will give some 650,000 low-wage workers a breather. But with the biggest single-year hits to living standards since the decade-long financial crisis, Yorgos says those extra few cents will make almost no difference.
It's only a few cents. How can it help? I mean, something is better than nothing, but I doubt it will go any higher. I mean, the quality of life here is good, but you need a decent income to have it. I'm alone. Imagine a family with kids. It's very difficult.
More than 1 million Greeks work in the tourism sector, the backbone of the country's economy, with most of them earning just a few cents more than the minimum wage, which doesn't qualify them for an increase. So experts believe if prices continue to rise, more Greeks will end up living in poverty.
Those $52 increase is something positive to look forward to. It's almost 10% more than last year. But when the largest part of your income goes towards paying the already increased energy costs, so imagine what will happen if costs continue to rise. I see many in Greece will end up living in poverty, with the rest of Southern Europe following.
Greek incomes were badly impacted by the decade-long financial crisis and still haven't recovered. As this latest wage increase has been hailed as progress by the conservative government, people like Yorgos are afraid it will make little difference as the rising cost of energy and food will leave him struggling to stay afloat. Evangelos Sipsas for CGTN, Athens.